loves you. Truly, the real you loves you. Truly, the real you loves you. Truly, the real you loves you. Truly.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Truly, the real you loves you because the real you is love. And good day, everyone. And welcome to today's session of Truly Foundation with your host and guide and coach and friend and teacher, Oliver Blue. And I am delighted. I am more than delighted. I am aware that this is a moment in time that has never been. This is the present moment and is the only moment that there is, and I get to experience it on so many different levels. And that is the gift of life. That is the gift of reality. That is the gift of love. That is the gift of God. And so today I am so thankful for the gift of awareness. I am so grateful for the gift of consciousness, that I am conscious of the energy of life that's moving and into form and in and out of form, in the visible and the invisible, that I get to experience it all on so many different levels. It is the gift of life. It's the universal operation we call love. And I'm just delighted to be a conscious participant. I'm delighted that you're here. I'm delighted for A Course in Miracles. I'm delighted for where we are in our journey of transformation. I'm so excited for this laser focused tool that helps us to be not conformed to this world, but that helps us to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. So we're in this course of mind training, of mind reversal. We are on this journey of what we call the miracle. And what is the miracle? As we have started this 10-day study on the section in the Course in Miracles workbook for students on what is the miracle. And what have we said about the miracle? We've said that the miracle is a correction. And it's a correction to our perception. It's a correction to how we see things. It's a correction to how we perceive things. It's a correction to how we interpret things. And this correction is based on us moving from seeing things from a place of separation and division, multiplicity, from a place of limitation and lack and fear and sin consciousness and guilt and instability and birth and death and instability in the functionality of this world and the inaccuracy of the interpretation of what we see. So we're moving from that place to seeing from what the Course calls true perception, to where we now have embraced the mind of Christ, or we have taken on the mind of God, or where now we have removed the scales from our eyes. We have removed the reign of the ego thought system, the REIGN reign of the thought system. And now we are in what we call the reign of reality, the reign of love, the reign of Christ. Now we have moved from that one place that caused us so much pain and suffering to this place that was always present. It's called Christ consciousness. Oh, it calls so many names. It's called the awakening. It's called enlightenment. It's called the new birth or the born again. I mean, it's called by so many names. But we're not going to allow names or differences to keep us from what is so much more important. And that is the love that inspires all of this. So today we swim in this, what we call this ocean of love. We swim in this reality. We swim in this universal presence that is always and everywhere, permeating and penetrating all the interspaces of the universe. This is where we reside. It's called the present, or this pure present moment, or as the Course call it, this holy instant. At the end of the day, at the bottom line is peace. It is the peace of God that passes all knowledge, all understanding. It is our return home. It is our return to our natural habitation, which is love. It is coming to know ourselves, our true nature, which is love. And so I'm delighted, for sure, excited, a little, hopeful, abundantly. And I send you greetings and blessings, not only to you, but to all that you hold dear in your heart, and all those that you hold dear in your heart. I send the blessings of love, the blessings of forgiveness, the blessing of the miracles. I send you the blessings that you and all of us come to an awareness that our life has deep meaning and good purpose, as the Dalai Lama would remind us. Deep meaning and good. If you've never been told that your life has deep meaning and good purpose, that your life is the very life of God, well, I'm here to tell you today that is so. And so it is. And so, as we move forward in this section on what is miracles, like we started out by saying that the miracle is a correction to our perception, or the way that we see things. We say that miracles undo or undoes error in our perception. It undoes the error in our perception. We also said that the miracle paves the way for the return of reality. Not that reality has gone anywhere, but we have just fallen asleep to reality. So it's like an awakening to reality, that we wake up and say, oh, from a long night's sleep, or of many years of sleeping. Some of us have waken up from many lifetimes of dreaming of separation, many lifetimes of seeing ourselves and having a self-image of ourselves that is antithetical or opposite to the reality of our innocence and our wholeness and our completeness. That is different than our different than the holiness that we are. We are a holy nation. We are the holiness of God. We're actually the holy home of God. We are the representation of God. You know, in Scripture it says that we are ambassadors for Christ. In other words, we represent a foreign country. We represent a nation. We represent a kingdom. And that kingdom is reality. This is what our life really, and the value of our life really is. This is the unlimited. This is the infinite. This is the totality of an endless life that we share with God and with each other. And so, here we are, embarking on another workbook lesson out of the Course in Miracles. And as we do this, wherever we are upside down in our thinking, it will transform us or translate us into a right side up orientation so that we can truly see clearly for the reign of falsehood, for the reign of self-deception, for the reign of ego thought system is over. It becomes over for you and for me and anyone when we accept the truth of our reality, that it is true, like we say here on Truly Foundation, where we say that truly the real you loves you. Why? Because the real you is love. And so something went off in the back so much. I said that and the light just illuminated behind me. Let me see if I can't fix that. Hang on a second. All right. I say certain things and that energy just goes off around me. Oh yeah, that's the way it happened. When we freely allow love to channel itself through these things we call bodies, sometimes it illuminates everything around us. It revitalizes everything around us. True love revitalizes. True love sets free. When we are truly walking in the love that we are, that it has a major impact on our environment, in our relationships, it has the ability to transform everything around us. And so it is my personal desire, it is my personal goal, just like it is of the Course, to remove every block that I have placed between me and love, to remove every thought, every idea that I have substituted for the reality of love. And in so doing, the light shines. That's what our elder brother meant when he said, we are the light of the world. And that we are to not to take our light and put it under a bushel, but we are to allow the light of love to be put on a candlestick so it can be put on display, and to let that light shine before all humanity, so that the reality of the one self that we all share can be brought into glorification, not by itself, but along with, because there is no by itself, but there's only there's only this shared interest that we all share with each other and with our Creator. So the universe operates through the individual, and the individual operates through the universe. So whatever glory is on display, all get to be a part of that glorification. All get to be a part of that sanctification. So it's not like, we traditionally say, God gets all the glory. Love gets all the glory. It's true in a sense, but it doesn't exclude you, because you are a part of this love. There is no glorification without you. There is no manifestation without you. You are part of the cause. You are not an effect. You are part of God. You are one with this idea of this ultimate and supreme being. You are a part of that. You are a part of the one self that we call God, the one self, the one presence the one universe. This is how, and the word great don't even adequately describe you, but this is how great you are. This is how magnificent you are. This is how impregnable you are. And so what? Lavish in that. Bathe your thinking with this reality. See yourself as the one self that God is, because that's the truth. See yourself as love, because that is who you are. I better get into the lesson. I better get into the lesson, because my feel good is feeling gooder. And I can continue on this line of talking and speaking and sharing for a long time. But for the sake of time, I'm going to get into the lesson. And today we're we're still in the section on what is a miracle. And we're on workbook lesson 345. That means we only got 20 more lessons to go, and we'll be finished with this project. Boy, what a run. But it's not the end. It's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. We'll be doing this until the incarnation is over, at least from my perspective. I have no intention of ever stopping this light of mine from shining. Never have any intention for letting this light of mine to stop shining. Never, ever, ever, never, ever. It may not be in this form or format, but it's wherever and however I can display the glory that has been honored and bestowed, this belovedness that we all share. Any way I can express it, I'm going to express it. And I hope you do the same. Wow. So, workbook lesson 345. So of course we talked about miracles here about in our last 6-7 sessions. And if you haven't been with us, you may like saying, okay, well, my idea of a miracle is something that's supernatural, point blank. It's something that transcends the natural. Well, that's an idea, but there is more to it than that. And like we've already said, from the Course in Miracles perspective, it defines a miracle as a shift in our perception. And what comes at the end of a shift in your perception, in other words, a shift in the way that you see things. First of all, yourself, your fellow humanity, and your Creator. And when we have a shift into this place of oneness and viewing from a place of oneness, what comes on the end of that shift is what we call acts of love. And we define these acts of love also as miracles. And we've also limited miracles to what really miracles can only take place in time and space. There's no need, there's no requirement, there's no need for miracle in the perfect place. There's no need for miracles in this space we call heaven, or this idea or this reality of perfection, or this reality of the all-encompassing and all-knowing we call God or life. There's no need for that. Miracles are only needed among each other, each of us. They're needed among each of us. Likewise, there's no need for forgiveness in heaven. There's nothing to forgive. And remember, heaven is not a place, but it's a reality. that we enter into the moment that we awake to the oneness that we share. So then there's no need for forgiveness. Forgiveness is only needed in a mind that that has been seemingly split from its source. And so forgiveness is what reconnects us to our divine, to our divinity. It reconnects us, or it creates the path for us to return to the sanity in which we left. And so the simple shift or pivot that we can make in our thinking that creates a way of seeing from a place of purity and wholeness and completeness is the miracle, which creates actions on this human level, and we call those acts of love. So every act of love is miraculous, where we take that which we have and share with those that seemingly don't have, but in reality they have all, because all of us have all, but in this perceptual world of time and space, everyone don't walk in the same level of awareness. Everyone don't walk in the same level of consciousness. And so those that are walking in a higher level, those that have awakened to the truth, we now turn to our brother, we turn to our sister, and we offer them the miracle of love. We offer them the miracle of forgiveness. We offer them whatever may be needed in the form that they need it, until they find out that they have no needs, that they have need of nothing, that everything has been given in creation. And so our thought for today, or lesson for today, is I offer only miracles today. So this is our thought for today, and this is our practice for today, that we can offer only miracles. We offer only shifts in perception. We offer only acts of love. I offer this today. This is what my life represents today. An offering of love, an offering of clarity of mind, an offering of grace, an offering of mercy. We said it's an offer of a miracle. And that's the only thing that we're going to offer today. What is the opposite of miracles? What's the opposite of true perception? It is a false perception. What's the opposite of a miracle? What's the opposite of acts of love? It's acts of what? Acts of hatred. What is synonymous with acts of love? Equality. What's synonymous with acts of love? Abundance, happiness, joy, fulfillment, beauty, splendor, peace, fellowship. All these are acts of love. Charity. And so this is all we're going to offer today. For I would have miracles to return to me. For I will have what I'm offering to return to me. So I offer only acts of love. Because if you offer anything else that is not loving, be rest assured that what you offer to others will be returned to you. That is the law. That is the principle. That is the universal law. That giving and receiving is the same. This one act of love. That what we give out is what we receive. It's what we will receive. Jesus said it this way in the Gospels. He says, give, and it shall be what? Given unto you. What? How? Pressed down, shaken together, and running over shall men give into your bosom. And then we said, with the same measure that you give. In other words, whatever you give, it will be met back to you. That is the law of the universe. And you cannot break that law. You cannot transcend that law because it's the law of love. It's the law of God. It is what runs the universe. It is what has run your life. It is what has brought the experiences. It is what has brought the results in your life up until now. That same law, whether you have been aware of it or not. You have always received what you have given. What you have given. You have always received the measure in which you have given. So this law has always been running the universe. So we don't have to fret, or we don't have to complain, or we don't have to be concerned whether or not fairness or justice is happening. It's always happening. It may not happen at the pace or at the rate or in the manner that you think it should happen, but it's happening. It is happening. Believe me, it is happening. We do not get to escape the law of love. So there's no worries, man. That's a true statement. There's no need to worry about anything. There is a universal law that is at work. There is a power that is at work that is to will and to do of the good pleasure of love. And that power and that pleasure is at work within us. That power and that pleasure, it fills all the interspaces of the universe. So no one escapes it. So you don't have to be concerned about judging anyone or anything. You don't have to be concerned about being the judge, the juror, and the executioner. No, there's only one concern. And it's not a concern. The only thing that we can benefit from is the awareness of love, and that it is everywhere present. And if it's not present, that means we have placed something in between us and love. We have placed some block, some falsehood, from some self-deception in between reality and unreality. And because we placed it there, guess what? We're the only one that can remove it. We're the only one that can wake up. I can't wake up from my natural sleep for you. I can only wake up from my natural sleeping for myself. You can wake up for yourself. And because there's only one self, and we share the one self, your new perception tells you what? Everybody is awake. Think about that one now. I know that's a little deep, but think about that one. When you awake from sin consciousness, guilt, and fear, everyone awakes because there's only one of us, and you are that. Think about that. Think about that. And so this is our idea for the day. We're offering only miracles, only acts of love, only perceptions that come from a place of oneness. I remember in Matthew chapter 25, I believe, where Jesus was telling a story or using a parable to teach a spiritual principle. He was teaching this spiritual principle that is our thought for today. He was teaching it in Matthew 25 when he talked about the king and his kingdom, and he talked about not being present, and while he was not present, that the inhabitants of the kingdom And let me read it a little bit. Let me read a little bit of it. He says, he says, he says, while I was away, he said, I was hungry. He says, I was hungry or hungered, and you gave me meat. Now, he was away, but he said he came back and he was talking to his inhabitants. He said, look, while I was away, he said, I was hungered and you gave me meat. In other words, you fed me. He says, I was thirsty and you gave me drink. He said, I was a stranger and you took me in. He said, I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you came by and you visited me. He said, I was in prison. I was locked up and you came unto me. And then in verse 37 of chapter 25, he says, then shall the inhabitants of the kingdom say, Lord, when saw we thee hungry and we fed you? He said, when did we see you thirsty and we gave you drink? Because you wasn't here. So when did we don't understand. He said, they said, when saw we as a stranger and we took you in? Or we saw you naked and we clothed you? Or when were you sick or in prison and we came unto you? They say they was puzzled. Then in verse 40, it says, and the king answered or shall answer and say unto them, verily. That word verily means truly. See? Truly. The real you loves you. He says, truly or verily, I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done these things unto one of these, one of the least of these, to anybody else in the community, anybody in the kingdom, anybody in your life, to as much as you have, inasmuch as you have fed the hungry, or you have given drink to the thirsty, or you have taken in a stranger, or clothed those that were naked, or as you had visited the sick or visited those in prison. He says, inasmuch as you have done this to anyone, any of the inhabitants, any of humanity, he says, much as you have done this to them, any one of these, he said, you have done this unto me. So the principle or the mystery here he was teaching is that there is no separation between the king and his inhabitants. There is no separation between God and his creation. There is no separation between love and love's extension. AKA, let's put it where the rubber meets the road. There is no difference between you and God, you and reality, you and love. No difference. No difference. All things are the one thing. It's just a matter of correct perception. And that's what the miracle does. It gives us a correct perception of who we are, a correct perception of who our neighbor is, or our brother or sister is. It gives us a correct perception of who God is, so that we can see through the eyes of reality that there is nothing but the one thing. And so my giving is only to myself, because there's only the one self that we all share. That's the lesson here. And then he goes on to say in verse 44, he say, then shall they say also, and then shall they also answer, saying, Lord, when saw we thee hungered? When saw we athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? When did we see you in these predicaments and we didn't minister to you, or we didn't give to you, or we didn't share with you? When did this happen? Because what they was thinking is they were respect a person, that they would do this for God, but they wouldn't do it for their neighbor. That's the way we think. That's the wrong perception. That's why we need the miracle to correct the way we see. He say, then shall he say unto them, verily or truly I say unto you, inasmuch as you did it not to one of the least of these, ye did not do it to me. So God is again trying to bring us into the awareness that we are one with, not separate and apart. Even in this body form, we are one with the divinity. We are one with the glory of God. We are one with love. We are one with reality. It's not something in the future, but it is something that is present. It is where we are. It is who we are. It is the ocean that we swim in right now. So if you're holding a concept about a future that's going to be okay, going to be perfect, things going to be corrected, no, the correction is right now. In reality, there is no such thing as future. There's only the present moment. So presently, you are in heaven. Presently, you are this infinite and eternal being. Presently, you are this innocent being. Presently, you are this creation of love of God right now. Right now. Now faith is. And you become the evidence. You become the evidence. Your life, your light becomes the evidence of this reality right now. Now you know who you are. And so with that miracle, which is a shift in our perception, now we see through the light of truth. We only what? We only give lights. We only give what? Acts of love. Because knowing that we're giving it to ourselves. What we will have for our brother is what we're going to have for ourselves. So we're no longer respective of persons, because we realize there's not really persons, but there's only the one. And we are that. And we are connected. We are a part of that one glorified, that one divine self. We call God. We call love. We call reality. We are a part of that. And so, Father, this is our prayer for us. We say, Father, we awake today with miracles correcting our perception of all things. When you understand what Jesus was saying in Matthew 25, verses 40 and 44, that's the mind of God. That's the mind of Christ. That's the universal law of love that's running this universe. And when that law is, when we misalign ourselves with that law of oneness, we cannot break it. We can only misalign ourselves with it. we get over into a place of pain and suffering and fear and guilt and sin consciousness and fear. But when we align ourselves, when we make the shift in our perception, when we take on the mind of Christ, a Christ consciousness, when we embrace that in reality there's only love, and we are that, we begin to be this conduit by which love itself is put on earthly display through every act of love. We become these agents of love, ambassadors for love. That's what Jesus meant when he said, let your light shine. You are an ambassador of love. Quit being an imposter. You're not separate. You're not divided. You're not sick. You're not broke. You're not crippled. You're not unable. You're not a victim. You're not any of these things that we've been conditioned by the world. You're not a sinner, as religion would have conditioned you. You may have chosen to affiliate with a particular party, but you are not that. You may have chosen to favor one team over another, but you're not that. You may have a favorite artist, or you may have desired experiences or events or places or whatever you have chosen to experience in this life. But you're none of that. That's not who you are. None of those things define you. These are just experiences that we have chose to have. But when we have embraced the universality of the reality that we are the lovely and loveliness creation of the one thing called love or God, and all that really exists in reality is oneness. And that oneness is now, and it's everywhere present right now. That we are swimming in that right now. Then indeed our light begin to shine, and we are indeed the light of the world. And so we wake up today with miracles correcting our perception of all things. And so begins the day that we share with our Creator, as we will share eternally. For time has stepped aside today. This is a timeless and a formless concept. When you embrace this reality, you transcend time and you transcend form. You transcend the vicissitudes of this world. You transcend the limitations of this world, because you're operating under the mind of Christ, under the mind of God, under the mind of love, under the mind of reality. So nothing can imprison you. Oh yes, things can happen to the body. Oh yes, the body can be, brought under subjection of an unloving act. But you're not the body. But they can never imprison who you really are, your timeless and formless self. They can never imprison your mind. They can put you in the deepest ocean. They can take you to the farthest place in space. They can put you in the deepest prison. But they cannot imprison your mind. They cannot imprison your reality. Cannot imprison your true identity, your true self as God. It cannot be changed. Who you are cannot be altered. You and I and all humanity, in reality, we remain as God created us. Holy and without blame before reality in love. Irreprovable in His sight. We have been crowned with an honor that comes from God only, that comes from love only. And so the crown of thorns that was placed upon the head of Jesus of Nazareth was only a symbol of the falsehood that we all had fallen into. That our minds had gone into an insane, upside down orientation about who we were. That's what the crown of thorn represented. It didn't represent reality, but unreality. It's all symbolic. But the true crown that all of us wear, the true mark of God that all of us have been marked with, is glory and honor. And it cannot be altered. It cannot be changed. You can live 1,000 lifetimes in falsehood and pretend to be what you're not. And none of that changes reality. When you eventually wake up, and you will, all of us will. That's the plan of salvation. That's God's plan for salvation. That's God's guarantee that what he created will remain that way, that it cannot be undone. So eventually all of us will have the experience, not the religious experience, but all of us will have the universal experience of waking up to our reality, the knowing of ourselves, to where we come to understand what our elder brother meant when he said, when you have seen me, you have seen the Father of all. That I and my Father are one self. We're one and the same. And Jesus of Nazareth was not just speaking for himself. He was speaking for all that God created. And God only created himself. And that's what we are a part of. That is what we are one with. That is what we are crowned with. And that is all the glory and all the honor and all the beauty of life is ours now. Yours. Just hit yourself. Say, it's mine. That's what Paul said in 1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians. He says, all things are ours. He understood. He got a revelation. All things. So that means that there's nothing missing and there's nothing broken in your life. Nothing. You are as perfect and complete and as whole as God is. That's why I like Paul when he said over, or John when he said over in 1 John in the New Testament. This is what John meant when John said, as he is, so are we in this world right now. As he is, as the Creator is, so are we in this world right now. This is our reality. This is your reality. One day, all of us, none excluded, because love has forgotten no one. One day, every appearance of a separated self or individual self will wake up to this reality and be consumed by this reality, completely encompassed by this reality. So eternity is now. Eternal life is now. That is your life right now. And if eternity is your life right now, that means what? Time has stepped aside. Time has stepped aside for you. We do not seek the things of time, and so we will not look upon them. What we seek today transcends. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. Let me go back. I'm ahead of myself. It says, the miracle I give are given back in just the form I need to help me with the problems that I perceive I might have. It says, even here, the miracle takes whatever form which can be recognized and seen to work for you. So whatever thing you think you need, the miracle would take that shape or that form. So what do you think you need? Because in reality, we have need of nothing. But whatever you think you need, the miracle will come in that form to you as you give freely. You will receive freely. Father in heaven, it is different. In heaven is different. For there are no needs. See, there are no needs in reality. And so if we have stepped aside, if time has stepped aside and we walk in our eternal self now, we have no needs. We have no needs. Everything that we could ever need, we realize that we already have it. It's already ours. And it will come to us in whatever form that is required. Not needed, but required. But here on earth, the miracle is closer to our Father's gifts than any other gift that we can give. Then let us give this gift alone today. Let us give love gifts only today. Let us give the miracle today only. Let us give this gift alone today, which born of true forgiveness. See, we can only really give from a place of love when we have forgiven completely. He says, let us give today the miracle that is born of true forgiveness, that lights the way that we must travel to remember not only you, but to remember ourselves. That's why Jesus meant when he said, do this in remembrance of me. In other words, be a miracle worker in remembrance of me. Give acts of love in remembrance of me. In so doing, you will remember who you are. You will remember that it's only one of us. You will remember that all the inhabitants of the kingdom are all God's. And as much as you have done this to the least of these, you have done it. You have done it to God. You have done it to your Creator. You have done it to yourself. And so, peace to all seeking hearts today. If anyone is in search of peace, it comes this way, by offering only miracles today, by offering only acts of love today to any inhabitant of the kingdom, any inhabitant, any person that lights your path today that you come across. Teach only love. Give only love. For this is what you are. This is the miracle. Because you can do this. Why? Because you've had a shift in your perception. You now know who you are. You now know who they are. It says, the light has come to offer miracles, to bless the tired world. Who is the light? You are the light. You are the light of the world. And you have come to offer miracles to bless the tired world, because the world is tired. The world of falsehood is tired. Those that are asleep and dreaming of separation, they are exhausted, along with disgusted and afraid. One who does not know themselves are in fear. But you come to bring what? The light. You come to bring the peace. You come to bring the shift in perception. You have the antidote. You have the cure to the virus of separation. It's called oneness. And so the world will find rest today. Your neighbor will find rest today. All the inhabitants, all those that cross your path shall find what? Shall find rest today because of your light. For we will offer what we have received. In 1 Corinthians chapter 11, Paul said, that which I received, give I unto you. On the same night in which he took bread, he brake it and blessed it and said, this ye is what? This is me. This is my body. The inhabitants, this is me. Do this in remembrance of me. And on the same manner, he took the cup and he supped, saying, this is what? The new perception. This is the new covenant that is symbolic by blood. He said, drink ye all of it as often as you can, as you do show your reality, as you do this to one another, as you love one another, as you become the light of the world, you remember who you are. So he said, don't feel guilty, because there is nothing to be guilty about. So he said what? So eat of the bread and drink of the cup. And we got it all turned and twisted around, telling people they can't eat of the bread or drink of the cup unless they go and clean themselves up, or unless they, so that means we're seeing them as sinners, or we're seeing them as separate, we're seeing them as rejects. And even the religious community does this. Put guilt, and not only put guilt in people's heart. We need to stop that. No, he said, so what? So eat of the bread and drink of the cup. That is an affirmation that you remain as God created you, that you remain holy and righteous just the way you were created, and that nothing in this world can change that. So for those of you who are listening to me and you partake of the sacraments, or don't partake of them because you feel guilty, or you've been made to feel like you're not worthy, you need a shift in perception. To say that you're not worthy is to say that the Creator is not. And so how many people labor under guilt, labor under sin consciousness, labor under a self-image of themselves because of this erroneous idea that we got to make ourselves that we have actually changed ourselves, that we've actually broken the law of God, that we've actually destroyed God. It's impossible. And we need to stop that. No. Anything that promotes guilt and judgment and separation and condemnation, it is not of love. I don't care what banner or name it's under. It's not of love. And we need to stop that. We need to wake up from that dream of separation. We need to wake up from that fear-based theology and awake to love. That is the miracle that we offer today. And that's the miracle that we'll receive. Thank you so much for being here today. I truly love the opportunity to allow that love to be expressed in and through and as this expression we call Truly Foundation. I really love it. I really love you because I love myself, and I know that you are myself, and I it couldn't be no other way. Thank you, Heidi, for being in my presence today. I missed you. I know you're probably saying, Oliver, you know, I've been looking. We're gonna finish this journey, Heidi. We only got 20 more lessons. I'm just slow walking it to the end because, you know, I really don't want this project to end. But I know it's only the beginning because we're gonna move into our next assignment, and I want you to be a part of that, Heidi. I love you too. Heidi got the West Coast covered. I got the East Coast covered. Everything in between is covered. We all good. You all great. You're crowned with glory and honor that comes from God only. So walk in that. You're a miracle worker. See you on tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.